All right, good morning, everybody. Today is the 31st day of the month. So we're going to do another quick summary of Proverb 31. The objective is to just give you quick notes so that you don't have to read the whole thing, although I hope it does inspire you to read the whole thing at some point. Man, today's proverb, the last one of the month, right? We know that there's 31 proverbs, so one for every day of the month. Just little bits of wisdom as we journey into our day and try to remain connected to our Lord. So I'm going to break out, just like I always do every day. We're going to give you a central theme for what the chapter is about. Then we're going to break it out into two primary segments of understanding. And then lastly, I'll give you the core idea behind the chapter. And again, these are just coming from me as I read and contemplate and try to dissect this the best that I can for your benefit and for the benefit of time. But for you and everybody who reads these things will hit us all a little bit differently depending on where you're at and the things that you're struggling with. Or maybe not even struggling with. I mean, life could be great and it just speaks to you in a different way. For this one in particular, it's so heavily weighted on the role that our wives play and that these women play in our lives. And the role that my wife plays in my relationship directly with her, but also in our children and the household. She's also my business partner. She does everything with me. We are together almost 24/7 because she's so involved in everything that I'm doing. And the humility that I have just watching her, that comes to me just watching her operate and her ability to be so just darn, she's so consistent in who she is. And the powers that the Lord give these women is so amazing. And yet she always elevates me as the head of the household. She always places me in the position of leadership. And I recognize that without her wisdom, I am not a whole man. And that has to do with hupotasso. I'll talk on this a lot. But all right, here we go. Proverb 31, the high-level summary. A woman of noble character fears the Lord and builds her household with wisdom, strength, and generosity. Her excellence crowns her family with honor, while charm and beauty fade without virtue. This closing chapter divides into two sections, yet unites under royal wisdom. The first is the king's mother's oracle. So this is a mother speaking to her son, saying, listen to me, boy. Hear me on these primary components of who you are as a character and a leader and an example for everyone who's watching you. It says, Lemuel's mother warned against women who drain strength, wine that perverts justice, and silence toward the poor. A righteous ruler must speak up for the afflicted and judge fairly. It's a complicated world. It's very difficult. We have the ability to look at those people without and say, well, why? What are they doing to pursue things? Especially when you're someone who is in constant pursuit of success and driving toward goals. You want that behavior for everyone else. And it can be very easy for us to look at them and say, they wouldn't be in that position if they would just make some decisions and get off their butt, right? Totally agree. However, there are, I believe, 14 or 16 references in the New Testament that Jesus makes directly about the poor. And just as a position for me, by the guidance of a mentor of mine years ago, if I come across people in need, regardless of their circumstances, if I have cash in my pocket, that means I'm in a better place than they are and I give it. Even if I think there's a possibility they could use it for something bad. That's not my position. The Lord, once I exchange that, this is just the way I look at it. Once I exchange that transfer of my gift, the Lord's in control. He's going to manage that person. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I can't manage the things that I'm supposed to do based on the outcome of others, period. I do the same, by the way, with people that borrow money. I don't let people borrow money. There are business transactions that I'll do. That's a separate situation. But when people are in need and they want to borrow money, I give it to them. I hand them the responsibility of saying, how you treat this going forward is up to you. If you want to you pay me back. If not, I'm not ever going to come back to you about this money. Just a position I put myself in, and eliminating the frustration, because people will rarely pay you back. And but that's not between them and me. That's between them and God. All right. The second thing is the portrait of the valiant woman. This is the beautiful piece about women. And an acrostic poem praises the wife of a noble character, trustworthy. This is in verse 11. Industrious, verses 13 through 19 and 27. Generous to the poor, verse 20. Provident in her household, verses 15 and 21. Dignified in speech, verses 26. And feared by her children and husband, verses 28 and 29. Her works and reverence for God outshine fleeting beauty, verses 30 through 31. You know, it's interesting. Obviously, when I first got with my wife and when in pursuit of her, her beauty was, of course, a component of my desire for her, my wish to have her be a part of my life. And over time, it's funny because her beauty actually to me now is even more so, even with the age that has come. We've been married for 25 years. And that's a function of understanding the core of the human and what her heart is about. And that is the gift. That's the great gift of time and age, and to a woman who looks to Jesus in all that she does and how hard she works, as I talked about before. So primary subjects within the chapter were royal duty and self-control. That's my piece as the king or the leader of my household. I have a duty to be good to people and to represent truth and to be in self-control and to not be haughty with my worldly desires or needs. Secondly is domestic and economic excellence rooted in wisdom and kindness, verses 10 through 31. Just more along those themes. The core idea, lastly, the core idea for the chapter is fear of the Lord. Fear of the Lord is the foundation of true strength and lasting praise. Whether king or matriarch, wisdom guards justice and nurtures flourishing, while indulgence and vanity lead to ruin. The chapter crowns Proverbs by showing wisdom embodied in both throne and home. This is just such a great balance of our understanding as men leading our household. It's not just our household, but even at work where we lead people and how we position ourselves as those leaders in humility, but with strength. All right, man, that's it. Last one of the month. We're going to kick it off on the first one tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great day.